I don't know. Is it live? Is it not? I don't know. While we're waiting for confirmation, I'm going to remind everyone to go to hankstrange.com. Sign up for the email list, yo. That's how we do it. That's what we do around here. Let's see. What else? There's lots of different ways that you can support us on there. You can go to lolasdeals.com as well, or look in the menu and find Lola's Deals. There's all kinds of things. It's all three of us. If you guys like shaving the shrubbery, as they call it, you can go to Manscaped. If you haven't already heard about that, we all use it around here. Right, guys? Yes or no?
That's absolutely right.
There you go. Look at that. They're so proud. All right.
My paint has never been so clean.
On a dude, I don't. Wait a second. On a dude, that's not what it's called.
A taint? Yeah, it's your taint. That's the area
What?
between your butt and your balls.
Okay, well that's
You don't know what taint is?
the
Man, Hank doesn't know
memo.
his
The
own-
memo in the beginning of this about I'm getting crazy.
Listen, if
I
you
would like
want
to make a
talk
note.
about-
I would like to make an official note. I did not start this conversation.
Exactly. If you want to talk about manscaping, I'll tell you all
All
about
right.
it.
Listen, use the code Strange20 if you haven't already heard about that. Okay, listen, I also want to thank Walther Arms for sponsoring the show. Shout out to those guys. Everyone coming in, smash the thumbs ups, all that kind of good stuff. Let's see. Let me press the button and get this rolling. Walter, press the button.
Welcome back to the Hank Strange
There you go.
Situation.
Make sure you guys
Lifestyles of the
subscribe,
locked and
thumbs up,
loaded.
ring the bell so you can be notified when we go live. Let's see the jazz hands, people. Woo! There we go, jazz hands. I hope you got your big girl panties on. This is episode 586 of the Who Moved My Freedom podcast. The title of the show is SCOTUS Punts 10 2A cases. That's right, no 2A cases in 2020 from SCOTUS, Supreme Court of the United States.
Yeah, enough of the acronyms. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got Babyface P joining us here, of course, and Walter Keller. What's up with you guys? How was the weekend?
Okay.
Okay, that's it. That's all.
I mean, I
That's all I get.
fixed. Friday. We talked on Friday, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we talked on Friday.
Mhm.
I fixed the Pinsgauer, put new ignition in it, drove it out to Zephyr Hills to the air show there. I mean, to the event that was going on. It was hot as bejesus, but we had a good showing on military vehicles. Had some reenactors out there doing a weapons demonstration, both American and German. And the Germans had the cooler guns, I must say. There was a
Okay.
guy out there who had a real MP44 and stuff.
Okay. MP. So that's the
Sturmgewehr. The
Sturmgewehr.
Sturmgewehr.
Sturmgewehr. Okay.
Yeah,
Nice,
Sturmgewehrs. Yeah.
Mhm.
And let's see what else.
What's cracking up? What's cracking up, Patrick?
Everybody's giving me the proper / their own names for
For
the
the business.
perineum
Oh, boy.
or the gooch.
The gooch. What? I never heard that.
I think the gooch is from Long Island. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
The gooch.
Wow. Wow. Just wow. That's all I could say.
Oh,
Wow.
ShamWow. Not just
The
wow. ShamWow.
Wow.
Remember what's his name? What was his name?
The guy that's the did the
ShamWow guy that
commercials.
Got busted on a prostitute down in Miami.
Yeah.
Vince.
Yeah.
Vince.
She bit his tongue and then he hit her in the face and got arrested.
Is that guy
Yeah,
still
and
alive?
actually,
Yeah, he's still around.
Oh, okay.
yeah, and
still doing
actually,
it.
then nothing happened with that because it was like one offset the other, like offsetting
Yep.
penalties. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
What is this? Walter drinking from a mason jar. What is
It is
happening in the world?
It looks like my insulated cups are missing in action right now. So
Yeah.
I'm
Walter-
using old school.
Yeah. Channeling the inner.
Hillbilly.
Yeah.
And there ain't none of that hillbilly in me. I can tell you that right now. Or as my grandfather used to
I
call
hope
him, he
there's
said-
no hillbillies in you right now.
My grandfather
That would be
used to call him
uncomfortable.
The tone for hillbillies of my grandfather was Billy Joe's. Because everybody's Sally Joe, Billy Joe, Randy Joe.
okay.
All-
You didn't get that joke, but okay, fine.
Yeah.
All right, fine. Let's see. I'm trying to see. Okay, all right, good. I can't mess around with that right now. Okay, so Babyface, what's up with you? How was your weekend? You
It was good. I was out of town
On the
most of the
road?
weekend. Came
On the
back
road?
Saturday night. Let's see, I don't know if there's much else going on. I got some stuff
I had an
going.
awesome weekend because Babyface fixed my freaking Mini 14.
I did. It's done. I don't. Did I post it? I didn't post a picture of it done, but I should. I did post a picture of it with a muzzle, with the threads being cut.
Yes.
But
Oh,
I'll have to
okay.
grab a picture of it completed.
And cutting threads on the lathe is there's nothing more satisfying. Well, there's a couple of things more satisfying, but one of the most satisfying things is cutting good thread on the lathe.
Yeah, I think he was throwing that. That was on Instagram, right?
Yeah,
That
it
was
feels
on
so
IG.
good. And screwed the thing on, everything tied up correctly. And that actually took me, it's probably shameful to say this, but it took me about 5 hours to do that whole thing, because you have to take that front sight off.
Right.
In my Mini, the front sight just goes over the barrel. Yours, the barrel has a different diameter under the front sight, so I had to cut that back, cut the new section, thread it, and then put it all back together.
Was the old section at a 1/2 inch?
Not quite. It was 5.25, so it was just over 1/2 inch.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, it wasn't like a lot. I didn't have to cut a whole lot. It was nice though. It was just enough to cut the where the front sight was pinned on, that drilled out spot for pinning it on. It was just enough to cut that off and clean up that whole section. So it's
cool.
nice clean threads all the way.
That's
Now
what this picture is. I'm showing the Babyface P IG for anyone who wants to go there. It's just baby_face P. There you go.
Now that gun is 100%
Badass.
A-team.
What's? Oh yeah. Wait. Yeah, he put he also threw the bayonet up on something.
That is correct. That is on the M16.
Yeah.
That's the only thing it goes on is the M16.
Right. So awesome. And by the way, you dropped a video today.
A video went out this morning, and it's doing good numbers at the moment.
Yep.
So that's nice.
I was just looking at that before we started. Did you read my comment?
No, I have not. I haven't even been over there.
Oh, go read my comment.
When you put out a new video, do you actually get notifications and comments? Because I don't any longer. After like a week, I'll start getting notifications, but I have to go out of my way to like find the notifications on the newest videos.
Yeah, what I try to do is, as soon as I can, I go there and just answer the comments. So sometimes it's immediately as it goes up. Sometimes it might be a little bit after that. It depends. Like sometimes videos are getting turned on while we're on air, so I'm not really 100% sure. But you should go check out my comment.
I see your comment. If anybody wants to go watch it, it's youtube.com/babyfaceP.
Yeah.
We are bending the tantal flat.
Yeah,
So
he's bending his taint is going flat.
Bending it into, I guess what you would, well, no, I guess it's considered a full receiver at that point. It's not an 80%.
He missed that one too.
It has the fire controls.
You missed that one also.
Man,
you guys are missing all my good jokes.
Or you? Have you ever thought about that?
I know for a fact you do that all the time.
So it's live over there.
Yes. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. I did look at it. It's interesting. It's interesting to see. You know. Hopefully, so in the caves, do those folks in the caves building AKs also have Harbor Freight presses?
You know, I assumed, I don't know what they use, but I mean, with a hammer and an anvil, I could probably make do. It just wouldn't be as pretty.
No. Yeah.
Oh,
You're not building an Iron Man suit, so.
Yeah, that's right.
What's that, Walt?
The ones in the caves don't build those guns.
They get them from China.
They get or they come from the region in Pakistan where they do all that. In the I can't remember the name of it. Begins with a D. Anyways,
in Pakistan, that begins with a D.
Oh, it starts with a D? I know of the Khyber Pass.
Well, Khyber Pass is just going into Afghanistan, Pakistan thing. That's the in and out from those two. Yeah. The Dara region or Dara.
Oh, is that where they were made?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Chris Bullis was asking where the bayonet came from. You want to tell him?
From a estate sale, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah, that's what we call it. He got it from me.
Yeah, I got it from Walter, but it came from a deceased relative's estate sale.
That's a good description for it. Yeah.
He had a bunch of. Do you still have all that box of knives over there?
Yeah, I do. Actually, I need to. Can we show knives and talk about it?
Yeah, we could show knives.
You know what? In a little while, let's get going here. In a little while, we're gonna have Walt's knife.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool.
I will show each one of them that are available. And if anybody would like to,
nice.
If anybody would like to also become an owner of. I don't have any more M16 bayonets, but I do have some other real cool knives. So
Yeah. Okay, that sounds like a good.
Because
treat.
I do need to find new homes for them.
Do you still have the one with the brass knuckle blade?
Oh yeah, baby. Yeah.
Okay, don't show that one because I may want that one if you're not.
I thought he claimed that one. No.
I thought you did too.
Yeah. Well, there's two of them.
Oh, there's two.
There are 2 to 3 of them actually. One is U.S. World War One. One is a French copy of that. It's a genuine French one. And then there's something that maybe came from Mexico or something like that. So yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll talk.
Yeah, we'll get into that here. We'll get into
later.
that here. We probably have to talk. We'll talk about the Supreme Court thing here in a second. Also, hey, look, I want to show you guys something I got here. Look at that. Oh, wait, hold on. All the way up. Boom. Look at that.
Look at that box, man. That's pretty as a moment.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
that's a
saying?
box. And who knows?
It's got to be because that was heavy.
Who knows? Who knows this line? It's a empty case. Empty case.
Empty case.
Yeah. Do you know what that line's? This is an empty case. No, don't know what that came from. Okay.
Unfortunately, no.
All right. We'll see. We'll see if anyone can figure that out. There is a That's the movie line of the day. This is an empty case. Okay. I don't know if anyone's gonna be able.
I know you're getting a lot of excitement from that.
I don't know if anyone's gonna be able to figure that out. I also do have like a real sweaty. Okay, now it's cooled down. Oh my god. Babyface was keeping this magazine in the heat.
Oh, it's
Just
okay.
In the serious heat. Look at that. That's a magazine right there.
I'm going to be bringing a couple more of those with me for this weekend. You know, this weekend we're getting together and we're going to bust some caps.
Yeah.
So.
Very reluctantly, by the way, Walter, I should say. Very reluctantly, Babyface brought my
Handed
upper
that to
over
you.
here.
If I had my, if it was up to me, it would have stayed in my safe. Just saying.
He was very reluctant about it.
He wanted to put it in his safe space.
It would have gone nicely, like on a wall back here somewhere, kind of decorated.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah. He was just hoping that I'm so old that I would forget about it.
I think you're going to make a boogaloo lamp out of it.
Yeah, just stack it up.
You know, that'd be really easy to do. To put the real gun, you just make a base for it where it props it up, and you make your lamp assembly that slides into the barrel, and it's always just sitting there in the corner minding its own business. You know?
Nice, just ready to go. No one knows what it is. Yeah.
Yep.
So thanks for that to both of you guys. All right, so listen, Supreme Court. Let's get on this thing here. Let's see. There's a couple of different articles out there that we could go to. I'm gonna. There's this one on Truth About Guns. AmmoLand News has one. This headline here: Breaking Supreme Court denies cert in all pending Second Amendment cases. Let's see. It says, well, it has happened rather than the hoped-for clarification of the Second Amendment and the resolution of numerous circuit court splits. This morning, the Supreme Court denied cert on all 10 outstanding petitions in Second Amendment cases. And it goes on here, Walter. If you you're making some noises.
How do you just wholesale? No. You know, how do you just wholesale?
It's called Justice Roberts. Roberts was put in by what's his name, right?
Bush.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
you hear cases about what they just also, about the transgender, lesbian, gay, workplace stuff. Mm-hmm. That stuff seems to have such a priority over everything. I mean, it's like.
I think they're just not. I mean, this is by design. Now, obviously, if you read the AmmoLand or the which one is it? The Truth About Guns article. They're saying that there was a couple of judges on there, obviously, that were not very happy. Let's put it that way. That none of these were taken up, right? We had
Who
some
gets
stuff
to decide? Is it as a group or is one or two decide?
I think they get together and vote, but I think Roberts doesn't want to take up any of these things. That's my understanding of the whole thing here. I think Roberts is the big holdup.
He's a pussy
in here.
I mean, there's only one word for that shit when you don't want to. Why is it so tough?
Yeah.
What's so tough about it? You know, you take on every other goofy. You take up every other case, and they come up with some decision. But the Second Amendment is like off limits.
Yeah.
It's like, why? Why is that?
Let me go into this a little bit more here for the people who didn't look at this. To no one's surprise, Justice Thomas issued a scathing dissent in Rogers v. Grewell, pointing out once again how lower courts is simply disregarding Heller and McDonald. He was joined in this dissent by Kavanaugh. We thus know that there are 4 very solid pro 2A justices on the court: Thomas, Alito, Gorsuch, and Kavanaugh. That being the case, why were all these petitions denied? It only takes 4 votes to grant cert. The only reason I can see for the court's reluctance to take another Second Amendment case is that they now fear or know that Chief Justice Roberts has gone wobbly. And that's the thing here. So, hey, go ahead, Walt. I'll let you get this out.
Get him some Viagra. Come on, man. Get unwobbly.
Yeah. I could tell you guys one thing right here, man. You know, for anyone who's in doubt, I am definitely going to be voting Republican. That's going to happen.
Oh God! Has the wind changed direction up there now or something?
No, it hasn't changed direction.
First thing you're going.
I'm just saying to you, like, regardless of all the things going on in the world, if we get Biden in office and he gets to put another because you know what's her name's gonna come off if they get the right person in there. This is a big deal to me. The Supreme Court, and you guys can see why right now. They don't want to recertify, or they don't want to take up Second Amendment cases and certify the Second Amendment, which is allowing people to put lots of infringement on the Second Amendment into place. You know, this is why this is so important. And if you get Biden or whoever is going to sub in for Biden here at the last minute, then, you know, when you get what's her name? RBJ, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Yeah, RBG.
Oh, if Biden wins, she'll retire the next day.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But who knows?
We'll end up with another manly female in there.
Yeah. I would rather, you know, regardless of how crazy people might think Trump is or whatever, I would rather have him in there, and at least we can get. You know, because we can see, like, just from what we're reading here in this article, where his justices kind of are, at least on, you know, they're waiting for a Second Amendment thing to come up. Roberts, no good, man. Roberts, I think, was a plant. That's why everyone loves.
Look at Bush and how he acts now.
Yeah.
Bush,
but he's also a hero, which is weird. Like, he was never a hero to the left.
Bush
to the left.
Yeah, well, because he's lost his nuts went back up in his body or something. You know? I mean, but that whole Bush family is progressive, anyways. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think wasn't one of the old Bushes one of the starters of Planned Parenthood?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. I think listen, man. This for me is like a big deal. This is a big deal right here. These guys are just refusing to take this thing up. You know, and it really shows you where they're at. It shows you where Roberts is at. These guys don't want to bring up something from that is Second Amendment related, okay, and knock down a lot of the crap that's going on around the country. This is why these kinds of things are really important. There's a lot of stuff going on that, you know, I'm not trying to say that I don't care about it, but I do care about this particular thing, because if they get an opportunity to pack the right amount of people on their side, we probably won't have the Second Amendment.
The judges are very important everywhere. Even the little bitty judges locally are very important, and because they have a way of making things go either way. Well, it's very important across the board. Yeah. So, and I don't like when they run these judges run for office, and they don't have their political party attached to it. Mm-hmm. I've seen that here locally. I just saw somebody, the mayor of Safety Harbor was endorsing somebody that's running for, and you know the ads is all red, white, and blue, but It might leave a little more blue with a hammer and sickle in it if you don't dig deep. So,
well, you wanna do your research on that, because this is one of the things that they always try to do, and that's everywhere I think that's everywhere. That's in Florida, at least, if it's not in other states, that they try to hide the political affiliations of the judges. But you can look up a lot of this stuff. What is it, Ballotopia, I believe, is the website you guys can go to, and you can look this up before it happens. So I think this, to me, man, is really, really. I don't care so much about what they did with the LGBT thing, or whatever. It's all good, right? That
I guess, yeah.
I'm not worried about that. So
whatevs.
But the fact, like, this is a really important thing. I think that if things go in the wrong direction here, and you get a president who puts in a couple of judges on the other side, then you're going to see a mass erosion of the Second Amendment, if not it just going away altogether. No one.
Well, it can't go. It can't go to all the way together just by. Boom, it's gone. That doesn't. That legally can't happen.
Yeah, for sure. But there's a lot of things they can do to get in the way of it.
If that happens, the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth all go away at the same time too. So, and we can see what's going on in Seattle right now.
Yeah, I mean, that could happen really fast, right?
These nut jobs might decide to throw something. Let's have our own little New York City, you know. And what are you going to do? In New York, they can't do anything.
Right.
I mean,
in Seattle, they can't do anything. In Seattle, they can't do anything.
Try it in Florida, see what happens.
Yeah. In Seattle, they can't do anything about it.
Try to block my neighborhood in, see what happens.
Yeah. It's weird. I saw the police. I guess she's the police chief. There's a black woman, I think that's the police chief of Seattle. Did you see any of the video from her? Where she was talking about how there's, like, rapes and all kinds of things going on in that Chaz zone.
Well, do something, bitch.
They can't get in there and do anything about it. But at the same time, the mayor of Seattle says, "Oh, these guys are really patriotic."
What do you mean you can't do something? That crosses my thing, man. All these police departments all have all the means to do something.
I don't think they have the will.
Just do it.
I don't think they have the will to do something.
Well, yeah, because she's a. Anyways, never mind.
Yeah,
I'm gonna keep those comments to myself.
No, we could talk. I mean, we could talk about both of these. We could talk about both of these things.
I'm not one for You see, there's a lot of female police chiefs all over the country, and most of them are very, I don't know, very light, very, 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 very kind. Let's say that. Yes.
Parsing your words. You're like one extreme or the other.
Well, you're supposed to be the police chief, right? So
right.
When people break the law, what do you do?
Law and
you
order.
Enforce the law.
Yeah.
But they're not. And regardless what the mayor says, fuck the mayor. Your job is to enforce the law, right? They usually sign some oath to protect the Constitution and do all that stuff? Well, there's people inside that area that don't want to be held hostage.
Yeah,
they're being held hostage by these nut jobs.
Yeah. I think that they took too long to do anything about what's going on in Seattle, including up till now they haven't done anything about this Chaz zone. So the longer that goes, the more publicity it gets, the harder it is to do anything about it there, right? Versus if it happened in other states, depending on who the people running those states and the police departments are, they would get on top of that really quickly.
So what do you do now?
They've gone. I don't know. I was talking to Babyface about this.
You can't ignore it.
Yeah, my prediction is.
Are they waiting for Trump to come in with the National Guard?
I don't think he's going to do it either. But listen, my prediction is this: they're either going to have to leave those people alone there and just let them have their own little country in the middle of Seattle, or they'll have to buy them out of there.
Oh, fuck that!
I'm not saying I agree with it.
You know what the commodity is? Is lead is the commodity.
Yeah. I am not saying I agree with it.
Watch how fast. If you brought in a trained group of people, they're shooters, watch how fast the little chazzers would disperse.
But here's the problem, Walter. If it was some Pro 2A guys that were in there, if it was some Pro 2A guys, they'd be all down with doing that.
But it isn't.
Yeah, so this is a bunch of commies, so they have no intention of doing it.
Let's not say what if. It's not that. It's a bunch of commie kids, right? And that's what they are. They're communists. They're not no other excuse for this bullshit. And the longer you let it go, the worse it gets. So all you're doing is you're telling other people in other places, let's try this too.
Oh, we're gonna see it start popping up in other places.
Let's try this in Chicago.
Yeah, we are going to see it pop up in other places. I think Patrick, you were saying some people try to attempt. They tried it
in Nashville, North Carolina, and they tore it down so fast.
You see what the police chief in Nashville said? He was like, "It ain't gonna happen here, buds. It ain't gonna happen here." And that's the way you should. You got to be strong, man. If you're not strong, you'll get your shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
I carry my revolver and single action says just turn off electricity and water.
Hello, turn the water, electricity off. Give them some tainted soybean meal or whatever the hell they eat. And tofu. And
I think it's going to take more than that if you have very wealthy people backing these people, man. They'll figure out ways of getting things in there for them.
The wealthy can have it.
I think at this point they are going to try it in other places, and at some point we'll even see people from different camps trying to do this kind of thing. And if you get some like neo-Nazi dudes trying to do it, then you might see people, the government going in there and doing something about it. But these particular people, as long as the news is saying, "Oh no, they're just singing la-di-da-di," and
so what
hanging out in the streets.
What happens when the brothers set up Africa someplace? And then these are white folk doing it in this thing. These are not the brothers over here. So then is it super tippy toes then? I mean, do we just like, oh my God?
Maybe someone should set that up. Maybe someone should set it up, and every resident becomes a chief or a king or something like that.
Oh God, yeah. Maybe we can hand out those cloths to all these people too. They can be It's just.
So what do you predict? What do you predict is the outcome of this, Walt? Of this particular one, the one in Seattle, what do you think? You think this is going to last forever?
They are going to run out of food. It's not going to last forever. It can't last forever. What's forever is a long time, and we're not going to be around forever. Oops.
Yeah, you messed with your camera.
Oh, I touched the wire.
Okay.
I don't know. It's kind of hard to say.
You got to put your camera back on. I think it's off.
I know if it was going on in other places, it wouldn't be going on still. Because they would have came in like gangbusters. I mean, really, it doesn't take much. Trust me. I mean, what's your experience with these Chaz folks and these demonstrators? As soon as the bullets and the tear gas start to fly, they fled like rats. So, I don't know. I would tell, if I was Trump, I would tell the mayor and the police chief, you got X number of days, and then I'm going to, there's laws for this stuff too that are on the books for all this type of stuff.
I think as long as Seattle doesn't want to do anything about it, is not willing to do anything about it, it's going to exist there. And I don't think Trump's going to go in there and do anything about it. Nothing foreseeable, at least past the election, because that thing continuing to exist there just probably helps him out. Why do you think
it's going on?
Why would he go in there and take the bad press over it? By the way, your camera's still off, Walt. You got to take it. Press the button to take it off and on again, and then maybe we'll get it back here. While you're trying to mess around with that, let's see if we can.
Only reason this shit's going on because it's election year. Sorry. It's got nothing to do with police brutality. It's got nothing to do with blacks getting killed. It's all about disrupting the election.
Yeah.
That's it. Period. Finished. Over.
I agree with you. On that.
And so you have to make sure that everybody can get to the polls and vote. That's a good excuse right there.
I think everyone should go out there and vote. Whatever it is,
I'm talking about the people that are corralled in this thing. They need to be free to vote.
When they go out to vote?
Yeah, so I'm going to free them.
I'm sure they'll let these people mail in their vote. We'll see. Babyface, what's your prediction on this? Let's get it from Babyface here for a second.
What am I predicting here?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
What are you predicting is going to happen in this chat zone?
I don't know. I know that I don't like it and I want it gone, but I don't know how you get rid of them without boots, without being,
without shooting them.
Yeah.
Without boots on the ground.
And you're not going to get this uprising if you do that either. People are going to go, yeah, hell yeah. I mean, it's just silly. It's just, you can't, what this that thing about prisoners in the prison? They've taken over the prison, so to speak. I mean, you can't let the animals run free, or just
Has anyone ever seen Escape from New York or Escape from L.A.?
It's not a movie though. This is not a fucking movie.
Yeah, it's gonna be Escape
no,
from
it
Seattle.
It's not a movie. This is real life.
Okay, we're living it. We're living
well, then
it.
What do you do when you're in a war zone and you get surrounded, or you got a group of enemy? You tell them you have X amount of days to surrender, or you're gonna die. I mean, that sounds cruel and sounds mean, but you have X amount of time to get your act and get out, or surrender and leave your guns in a pile in the middle there, or we're gonna come in and take them from you.
I understand what you're saying. I'm not arguing with what you're saying.
I just say nobody will do it, right? Nobody will do it. Right?
I don't. I'm not saying no one will do it. Nobody's got a set
big enough to do it.
Not there. Not in that part of America. Not in that state. Not in that city. They don't have. They don't have the cojones to get it done over there. And probably their only way out of this right now, what they're probably doing, because it is embarrassing for them. It is making people realize how far gone they are. They're probably trying to figure out how to pay those people off right now to get them out of there. That's what they're up to.
What does that do?
Isn't it?
What is it doing paying any of these people off? They're screaming about police brutality or this or that. What does it do? It doesn't do anything. It doesn't fix anything. All you do is you give them more money to make more mayhem. You don't pay the Iranians billions of dollars. What do they do with that money? They've created more mayhem.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say to you that I think any of that is the right thing to do. There's a difference between there's a difference between what people who think like us would do and who people like them would do.
I would already be cleaning up the mess myself. Yeah. And I'd give those guys that we catch, I'd give them a couple of years of hard labor someplace. Yeah. And let their mamas come and see them every once in a while and cry over them and that's all colors. I don't care what color you are. y'all go to the same prison. So
Bruce Ludman says time to break out the speakers and play the worst music possible.
Oh, that's Psych Ops is awesome. Yeah. You know what? You got to shut all the internet down. You got to set up internet around there that they can't get in.
So the thing that I was saying, like what I was saying to myself the other day is, you just taking a cell phone jammer. Imagine what sort of mayhem you would have if you turned off cell phone access to that whole area and then turned the internet off. They would go fucking apeshit.
All utilities off, all the power, and you jam with jammers. The military's got all that stuff.
The police have
and then you set up the speakers and you play 40s music all day long.
You know what they should play on? You know what they should play on the speakers?
The national anthem.
That's fine. But what they should play is just Trump speeches on loop.
God, you man.
This is the greatest. We're the greatest. We'll do the best. They should just play that. They should just play that all day. That'll drive those guys nuts.
That does drive people batty though, which is good.
Yeah, but I just don't think they have the will to do anything. How long is this now? We're at least a week in, right? This didn't start over this weekend. It started sometime last week or the weekend before that, if I'm not mistaken. Someone could tell us the timing on it, but it's gone on too long. It's gone on too long. And ultimately, you're going to see these guys, they're going to try to pull it off in other places. Like Patrick was saying, they did try to pull it off somewhere. They didn't get away with it. But I think in the right places, they'll get away with it. If you've got other very liberal places. Look, one of the things the Supreme Court refused to take up was the immigration zones. Did you see that?
Oh, the what do you call it?
Sanctuary cities. Yeah, they refused to take that up. By the way,
breaking laws too.
Yeah, but, you know when they will take it up? They'll take up sanctuary cities for 2A sanctuary cities. Then they go, oh, wait a second, we got to talk about this. You can't. This is the thing I'm trying to say to you. It's so crazy. It's so weird. SoCal Gunner gave us a couple of bucks. He says speakers that play Jocko Willink speeches.
Oh, I think they should play the COVID-19 one. COVID-19.
Oh,
the
boy.
Devil, COVID-19. Oh,
Yeah.
Come on, man. That's a good idea. Loud music and then bright lights. You have to surround the whole area with very bright lights.
Mm-hmm.
And every street has a bright light shining down it, so they can't see out. Of course, you can see in, and just annoy them and don't give them any of their tofu and their soy-based foods, and starve them out. That's another reason too. And if anybody gets caught coming in to feed them, they do 60 days in the hole. So
I'm sure there's going to be some very wealthy leftists, some George Soros types, airlifting them in food and water and all that kind of stuff.
Airlift, yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
I think that this is. Go ahead.
Plane's got to take off from somewhere and land from somewhere. You don't fly an airplane without somebody know you're flying an airplane. Very hard to do.
Yeah. I think we're going to see that thing continue for a long time, and then we're going to see other ones try to pop up, and then there's going to be people. There's going to be some people out there trying to pop up different ones on different sides of the aisle or the spectrum or whatever the hell you want to call it. And if any of them are right to the right of that spectrum, they're going to get shut down. And any of the ones on the left of that spectrum, they'll be like, oh, that's okay. It's the same way that we saw sanctuary cities for immigration and nothing was done about it all the way up here to the Supreme Court, right? Nothing's done about it. Then you're obviously seeing sanctuary cities for the 2A. So what do you guys think about the sanctuary cities? You don't think it's good, right? Except if it's for 2A, right?
Well, it's legal.
2A, you think it's okay, right?
Well, Stop. Second Amendment's on the Constitution. It's legal. Sanctuary city stuff is illegal.
Right.
Because you're basically harboring criminals. They have broken the immigration laws here. You're harboring criminals. Period.
Right. I understand that difference.
But people don't like that terminology or not. You are. And that should be enforced. There's nothing in doubt about there.
Right. I understand the sentiment, absolutely. All of America is a 2A sanctuary. Right? Technically, according to the Constitution, Second Amendment. If it's not enforceable, then at some point there has to be that magical line that people go across, and then they're like,
where's the First Amendment, right?
Huh?
Where's the First Amendment sanctuary city? You can't talk about certain things in this country already without being shut down. I promise you, if I said certain things, you'd get shut down.
Yeah.
So that's not First Amendment, is it?
Yeah. Let's see. This is from Flying Rich. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with the comments here. Flying Rich says, he gave us $5. He says, FRAZ, Flying Rich Autonomous Zone, is a 2A sanctuary.
Well, Flying Rich,
where is that autonomous zone?
Is that
because that's not his house. That's not his house. That might be the seat in his house that his wife lets him have authority over. She's like, you can sit here. This is your zone. Yeah, that is what. Let's see. Razor JB says, just start dropping them and clean the streets. Maybe he's saying start dropping in on them and cleaning the streets.
Drop some bad drugs in there and you'll fix it really quick. They'll all be like, they're out of it. Lots of shrooms and really some really strong. And they'll be, dude, man, I gotta get something to eat, dude. Come on, man. They'll be eating you till like cannibals. Yeah, in the Chaz. What is this Chaz shit, anyways? What is that about?
That's the name.
Is that like an acronym?
Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. That's what it stands for.
Oh, okay, but they don't use that because all those big words will confuse a lot of those dudes.
Yeah. Brian Quick says we lost the First Amendment a good bit ago.
I feel like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, once again, like I said, you cannot talk about. Well, you can, and then your Facebook account will get shut down, or your Instagram account will get shut down, or you'll get death threats from the people who believe in freedom. So yeah, you know, I'm all for the. If you want to say something nasty and rude and great, I don't have to listen to you though. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't.
I'm just over all this censorship bullshit, you know.
Absolutely, I understand. There's lots of upset people. This is why this is why we've got the country we've got right now. Yeah.
Well, because we became politically correct and we can't say this and we can't use this word and and we group everybody into big groups, when they really aren't big groups. And that's like I brought up the Hispanic thing the other night. Everybody's a Hispanic. It's like, no, they're not. They're Cuban. They're this. They're that. They're that. That'd be like saying all white people who just white people. Well, yeah, they basically are, but they're from here. They're from there, but that doesn't matter anymore. So.
You don't like getting lumped into one group, Walt?
Well, I mean, I'm just everybody else in this country, every other group, or likes to be individual. Like there's ex-Americans and this Americans and that Americans, but if you come out and something that, it's like, oh, you can't be this, you can't be that, That's the white folk anyway. So
yeah, freedom for everyone except these kinds of
the
people.
white folk. Yeah.
Except these guys. I don't think it's just white people. I think it's that are on the other side. I think straight people are the enemy now to a lot of these.
Well,
people.
they are, yes, and Christians. Boom.
Christians
there we go. White, straight
are
Christians,
the enemy.
right,
Yeah, for sure.
And
if you're a conservative,
the Chaz, you saw they kicked out the street preacher, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's not welcome there. Even though they say all people are welcome, that's not.
They didn't welcome him. Yeah,
that's from the people that are all inclusive. Remember that?
Yeah,
people that like everyone and include everybody, except if you disagree with them.
Yep.
Hunter Biden's crack pipe says, "I'm just American."
Yeah, it always gets me. Everybody, they wouldn't. Well, that's the whole thing that Obama pushed, was breaking everybody up and separating everybody. So everybody wasn't American. Everybody was African American and this American.
I don't think there's anything wrong with pride. So people being proud of their Italian heritage or their Caribbean heritage or this thing or that thing. I think, yes, I get it. Ultimately, we're all Americans. I understand that. I'm with that. I'm for that. But we're different. We're all different. I'm cool with that. Nothing wrong with everyone shouldn't be the same. Look exactly.
You don't want everybody the same.
Yeah, but I think we're getting into a thing where this is why now, like a lot of the kids out there who have problems and they have attention deficit problems, not a disorder, but they don't get enough attention. They're manufacturing things. They're going into things that they don't really understand, right? They're saying, oh, well, I'm this or I'm that, because they feel like that's going to get them the attention that they're lacking.
That's one of my pet peeves too, actually.
Yeah, and it's not. Go ahead.
Every little group that feels they're a little different has their special little malady, right? So I always was attention deficit syndrome, whatever,
You're lots of things, Walter, I'm sure.
Right.
If we ever get someone to examine you, jeez.
There's some days I can't focus on nothing except not being in the shop. So, but that's not an excuse.
What is Babyface getting up to?
Richard Hughes sent me a video of him breaking a gun.
Okay. Yeah.
His printed lower.
Oh, it's printed lower. Okay, I don't feel too bad then. I was like, who's 9mm broke?
I asked him if he had a video when it broke.
Yeah.
I mean, but you know what I'm going is.
Right.
Everybody that has some kind of issue now has their special little group with their special little acronyms and their special little this and their special little that. You can't, as an adult, you can't. Well, I'm attention deficit syndrome, and that's just the way I am. You got to make special allowance for me. No, I don't.
Yeah. Where are you on the spectrum, Walt?
I'm in the all spectrums included spectrum. Depends which day of the week it is. If I'm hungry or if I'm not hungry or whatever. But that's one of those things that's like, when I was growing up, there wasn't all these little special groups for all these special little people. Everybody just adapted.
Yeah.
Now some people say, some of these people fell to the wayside. That's life. I mean, I hate to say it, but that's life. People do fall to the wayside. But
Crump says Arms List won their case. Was there a recent case?
Oh, good.
Really?
So, yeah. I mean, I think they keep bringing up the same old case. I don't know what's going on there, but yeah. Listen, you know what? So a long time ago, back in the Egyptian times, I call the 80s, when I first came to live in America, there was this weird thing happening that I noticed. Because everywhere else in the world, if you were smart, do you guys remember? Well, I don't know if Babyface remembers this because he's too young. But Walter, you might remember this. Do you remember that if you were smart, you actually used to be cool once upon a time?
Well, now
If you
in
were an
certain
intelligent person?
in certain cultures in this country, the smart people are looked down upon because they're not cool.
Yeah, but that's been going on for a
They're
long
not
time.
hip. They're not hip.
Yeah.
That's like saying, I've heard this statement. Some people they live in the hood because they want to, or in the ghetto. I'm going to say the hood because the hood is the neighborhood.
The ghetto.
They live in the ghetto. They live in the projects or wherever they live. I don't know if there's even projects anymore. And they live there because that's where they think it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And so then when things don't go the way they think it should go, and things are not, then they blame somebody else.
Yeah. Well, I think that whole thing of making smart people not cool was about stopping people from thinking for themselves.
Well, I mean, look at the smart people in our society, of all colors, all things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you. Once again, that goes across the board. It's not just in the black thing or whatever, but they look down on them, or if they come out and say what they really think, and they're not telling a story, they're telling the truth. Then they're like, oh man, you're this or you're that, or you're a ploy for this one, or that. Don't use that word Uncle Tom for the black, and it's like, come on, man, they're just telling the truth. You can't accept the truth. I hear people say, I'm all about the truth, except when it don't agree with their truth.
Well, we're not supposed to all walk lockstep with each other, right? So like us as gun guys, we don't agree on everything in the gun world. If we did, it would be kind of like what you're talking about that these guys are doing. Like if you say, okay, every gun guy has to agree on this.
No, not that. You don't have to agree, but I'm saying there are truths. The truth, or like numbers, there's facts. Mm-hmm. Facts is facts. Numbers are numbers. You can't deny that stuff. Mm-hmm. So some people like to deny it. Well, that's not the way it really is. Well, I'm looking at the numbers. Here are the numbers. X here, X there. Tell me how it's not real. Mm-hmm. I mean, tell me how it doesn't work. Mm-hmm. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of facts anymore. Like what?
No, it's all feeling.
Yeah.
Or at least recent cases like what happened in Atlanta. Oh. Yeah, there's nothing that, and then even what happened to the other guy.
What happened in Atlanta?
Well, there was another shooting.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Black
right.
person.
Okay, I know. I'm just trying to specify.
This is the one where he stole their taser, right?
Yeah, and then he started to go back to shoot the cops, and the cops.
He shot the taser at him.
Yeah. And the cop. The superior officer came to the scene, who happened to be black, said, "Oh, it's cool. You had right." But they don't show you that. You don't see that.
Yeah, didn't the police chief resign or something like that? And then I think there's a murder charge.
Yeah, I don't know how you can charge the. Once again, you've turned the. Well, anyways.
Yeah. Appalachian Gun Runner says yes. He says hell yeah, there are still projects. We even have them in poor Appalachian mining towns now. They're unfolding the same plan on poor whites they tested on African Americans and natives and reservations.
Well, the projects in the big cities started out being all white. They weren't black in the old days, when they projects first started after World War II, if I'm not mistaken. And then there was a shift from the blacks moving into the urban areas versus out of the country, and of course they ended up a lot of people ended up in the projects. And then they get stuck in the project, so they get hooked to the project. So the government keeps some of the government cheese in the projects.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. I don't know who this is. Old Dog says smartest man on YouTube, Walter. So clearly this gentleman is not taking his medications.
I'm just observing things. I think what you need to do is observe things without hearing all the stories. Mm-hmm. That. Once again, take the facts in. Don't take in people's opinions and half of what they saw in a video, which 9 times out of 10 is not the whole story. So.
Yeah, but there's a bunch of stuff. So like Brick says here, the problem was he was shot in the back twice. I hate it for the cop in the case as well as the guy who died. All of these things have to get, settled. And we don't immediately know what happened there, even though we might think we do.
Yeah, you
don't
weren't
know.
there. You haven't
Yeah.
seen all of it.
Yeah,
You
if you,
don't-
I mean, if you're talking about the facts and all those kinds of things, it takes a little bit longer for the facts to actually come to light and for people
Well,
to see what's going on there. Whether sometimes that fits our narrative, and sometimes
you
that
have to
doesn't
be
fit our
willing to
narrative.
accept the facts. You can't if you're not willing to accept what really happened, then you
Yeah.
probably shouldn't.
But this is where like intelligence and being able to gather information, to analyze that information and process it in your brain and come up with a perspective for yourself versus the world we live in today is you throw up a headline on the news, everyone reads the headline, no one goes deeper than that. No one takes the time to figure out exactly what
Well,
happened, and everyone
there-
responds. And this is on all sides of the spectrum, Walter.
you're not getting the news, so-called news, is not giving you what really happened. They're giving you what they want you to think happened, because they're influenced by the folks that are trying to influence your thought process.
Yeah.
If they just told you what actually happened and didn't say anything after that,
Yeah.
you could come up with a pretty reasonable, but
You know what? You know what? So listen, how do you have a gauge to know if you're getting close to the facts? Like you were talking about the facts, right? Do you have a gauge in your brain that tells you whether or not you're getting close to the facts?
if I'm being told the facts,
If you're being told or you're getting information, is there a gauge in your brain that says, "Oh, I must be getting close to the facts"? I'm asking both of you guys. I want to hear.
yeah, I mean, at
Babyface's
some point
response
you
to
go,
this.
oh, okay, I see what happened.
Yeah, but what is that gauge? Babyface, do you have one of these? Do you have a gauge in your brain?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so is that gauge in your brain when you go, "Oh, this totally makes my point. This totally
No,
fits my
no.
agenda."
Not necessarily, because
Well,
that's confirmation bias. That's not
Right.
necessarily.
Right.
There's things I thought were a certain way and they're not, and then I'll say, hey, I was wrong.
Yeah.
But-
So my gauge in my brain usually tells me I'm getting close to something when nobody's happy about it.
Yeah, I think.
Well,
that's pretty much it.
hello. What am I been talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, if the facts don't meet someone's agenda, then I know I'm on the right path.
That. Or
Yeah.
If we're making somebody into a hero that isn't a hero, and the facts say that this person wasn't a hero, then I'm right. I'm on the right path.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not sure specifically what you're talking about, like who is a hero or not. And I don't even like if you're talking about like George Floyd, so far as being a hero or something like that. I don't know if that's even the best word. I think maybe symbol is a more accurate word.
But is that?
But I
is
wouldn't
that
necessarily say hero. I would say it's a. I would say maybe. So in the case, I don't know if that's what you're talking about. But let's say you're talking about that. I would say that a better description of him as a human being would be a symbol of something. Like this is a person who what happened to him becomes a symbol of something, and then people rally around that and then raise that up as a reason. I don't know how that becomes how you become a hero. If let's say
a martyr?
Yeah. I don't know if it's a martyr. I don't know. Well, I don't think you can define it as a martyr either.
People ignore everything else except.
Yeah. I don't know if you could define it as a martyr either. So for me, let's say something like that happens to me and I get killed and I die. I don't want anyone to consider me a hero for that. This is an act. This is someone doing something to me and I die as a result of that. I might be a symbol of something or representation of something. These are just all keywords that we all get plugged into our brain, or not. I'm not saying us, but they get plugged in. People react to those kinds of things, good or bad, all the way around. People just need to learn to stand back a little bit and be more analytical of what's going on. Be able to see the small picture as well as the big picture. I remember before we got this deep into all of this stuff. If you guys remember a couple weeks ago, Patrick, when you were like, "Hey, everyone needs to consider that maybe you're being manipulated and everything."
Everybody is being manipulated.
Yeah. So, everyone on all sides, regardless of what you believe, someone's out there trying to push your buttons and point you in a certain direction.
See, I try not to focus on this stuff
Mm-hmm.
in my daily existence because it doesn't make any difference what I think or feel or anything. It's not going to change anything. And not in my existence, not in my realm. You know what? I have my friends, and my friends are my friends, and this, da 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 da. So me getting all upset about it constantly is just a waste of time. Good or bad or whatever. It doesn't. It's not. It doesn't. It's not going to fix the world. People think they're going to fix the world by being all upset. You're just going to make yourself die early. That's all you're going to do.
Pretty much.
So yeah, but because if you're upset all the time, you're going to die. You're going to die young. So your hair's going to get gray too. I don't want my hair all gray. It's already starting to get gray.
Yeah, I think we're kind of like structured to look for the stress. If you go back to I don't know, the saber-toothed tigers, we were just used to everything trying to eat us all day long while we were awake, and now we just have it really good, so we're just we're trying to make up stuff.
And now, just my opinion, a lot of people feel they need to be involved. It's like wearing a mask, and I've said this before. Wearing a mask makes you feel special. And some people need to feel special, or they don't feel like they're, they have nowhere. They need a cause. They need a reason. They don't have a business of their own. They're not consumed with that. They don't have a hectic lifestyle. They don't have kids. They don't have all this stuff. They need to, and some people fall into that whole thing where they have to.
And remember, does anyone remember this? Does anyone remember this? A couple of months ago, people had lives.
Oh, you know what?
Does anyone remember that? Like, do you remember what your life was like before all of this? Because mine is exactly the same.
My life hasn't changed one bit.
Hasn't changed a whole lot. No.
Yeah, no, but there's a lot of people out there that is different, right?
Well, yeah, because they've let it be different. And now, okay, granted, yes, if your job says you can't work, then you can't work. But I think, after a while, if that was me, I'd be letting somebody know how upset I was every day. I just, this virus thing's another. I guess there's no problem with marching and having a protest and having funerals. What happened to the virus?
I think that you're immune. I think you're immune from the COVID-19.
If
you are enraged, and if you are in the process of looting, you are immune from the COVID-19.
No, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about people gathering for huge for huge funerals and big shows of shows.
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't matter.
That's probably a good thing. But in the long, and I'm not saying this sarcastically. I think in the long run, it's probably a good thing. We need to get that herd immunity up, man. The flu is never going away. We're not going to cure the flu.
Well, first thing, there's nothing going on really. They've been this headline 1,700 more cases, and there was a headline today in Florida, 2,000 more cases. Well, 2,000 more cases of sick people, or 2,000 more people just tested positive. Because remember what the World Health Organization said, which they retracted the next day?
There's always going to be more cases. Go ahead.
Asymptomatic people don't pass it on very easily. Just because you're asymptomatic doesn't mean you're passing it.
Yeah, but the fact that they retracted that, Walter, proves that it's not true.
Well, hello. Once again, that's one of those.
We don't listen to anything from the WHO. That's my opinion.
Is that thought process thing you were talking about? When you get to a point where you go, oh, those fuckers are lying.
I don't listen to anything that right? WHO says. If they tell me the sky is blue, I'll be like, listen, that might not be blue.
Somebody said, oh, hey, wait a minute, WHO, no money for you. Oh, wait, we didn't mean to say that. We were off our medicine that day. I don't know, but it's like
good luck.
I mean, Mr. Well, anyway.
I think it's crazy. It's craziness.
Okay, I've had my vent session, so I'm over now.
It's craziness. There's a lot of stuff going on here. I mean, it's disappointing to me. The big thing that we're talking about, I think, outside of all of this, is what's happening with the Supreme Court. I mean, it's disappointing. The big thing I know that we can do, other than talking about it here and voting, is that one day there'll come a point where everyone has to make a decision. When those cops that they're planning on disbanding. Those cops that they're planning on disbanding will either get disbanded and become a whole new section of people who are going to be roving around collecting our guns, or they won't disband them and they'll be roving around collecting our guns. And then at that point, someone will have to make decisions.
Have to.
we'll have to decide what we're doing at that point.
Friend or foe? Friend or foe?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, on to some happy news. Let's see what we have.
Yeah. And let's see here. Okay, I'm going to do one more thing in here. Brick says, please explain how you watch a man get choked to death as being manipulated. I'm curious. I don't think, like, events are definitely events. I'm not doubting events that happen. I don't think anyone here doubts events that happen.
I'll give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
Hands up, don't shoot. You guys remember that? Hands up, don't shoot?
Yeah.
And how that was a total lie? Completely manipulated by the media, when in fact that is not what he was doing. He was reaching for the dude's gun.
Yeah.
So we people get played all the time. Remember when there was a Marine in his attic being boogalooed by the military, and all of us were, and that was what, 6 months ago. All of us were on his side because the boogaloo was starting for this one guy up in where the fuck he was.
Oh yeah.
All got played by that one.
Yeah. There's things there's things that happen here. There's like what happened to Breonna Taylor and all that kind of stuff, which has gotten mostly lost in the shuffle of a lot of this because it speaks to, no-knock raids and the same kind of thing that we've all been talking about. I'm not in doubt of that. I'm not in doubt of the things that are happening. I think what we're discussing here is a lot of things that happen can be taken and used to a political end. Or a specific political end, right? And you just have to make sure you have to be able, and your brain has to be able to process that and go, this happened and should not happen, and then at the same time, this is what the media or people out there are doing and pushing us in a direction. So I think it's just like with COVID-19. It's definitely, I'm not saying it's not real. It's real. It's a thing, right? But at the same time, we have to be able to look at that and realize that we completely shut down the economy. Now, over 100,000 people dying, that's not a joke. That's for real. But out of 350 to 370 million people and economies of businesses, lots of people who are small business owners being like eviscerated, people getting laid off. I'm hearing from people all the time getting laid off. You have to be able to look at that and see how there's something going on here. There's this real thing that happens, and then people taking those things and pushing us all in a direction, and then us all going there.
Yeah. If there were 2,000 active cases of COVID-19 or set in one day and 1,700 the next day, don't you think you... Look, you gotta, one day the facts will all get sorted out. They're saying like now in England the numbers have been doubled on purpose. Why is that? Why do you think? I don't know.
And then also, like you were talking about the WHO, remember there's news also coming out that this stuff has been around for a lot longer. Yeah. I mean, we're all dealing, like a thing happened, we're all looking at that thing happening or realizing these things are happening around the world, and then the information that we're given and how we're given that information is being manipulated. And people say, "Oh, don't listen to. We don't know anything about this. This can't be true." It's like when you look at. So what we were talking about the Chaz thing, right? Clearly Antifa, but the media says, "This is not Antifa. What are they talking about? The Antifa is not militant."
Oh God.
Right? You've got to be smarter than that. You have to be able to look at it and go,
of course you do. You have to look at facts. And then once you go to the fact, you go, oh, yeah, right. The media's lying to you. And who's running the media and who's paying Antifa? Oh, same guys. Oh, imagine that. Oh, look at that.
Or looking at the fact that they don't want to tell us who's running these things. So that itself is something. Or looking at the fact of, like, we went through before all of this, the only thing in the news was Russia. Russia tried to into insanity, and now the reality of what's coming out is that's all BS.
But that was all known BS years ago. Now it's years. All the facts were all been known, but they just continued to ignore the facts because it didn't fit the narrative. And anybody that can think straight or is willing to accept the facts go, oh, this is bullshit, And once again, you have to be able to whether the facts are what you want to hear or the facts are not what you want to hear. But people just have gotten so blinded.
Have we ever had an election in America, going all the way back to the beginning of elections in America, that an outside country didn't try to manipulate? Has that ever happened?
That's always been around. That's nothing new.
Has America ever tried to manipulate elections anywhere on the face of the planet? I think so.
But have we had a party that was colluded with the? Even that whole narrative that the Russians didn't want Hillary Clinton in. Explain that to me. Hillary Clinton and Democrats have always been buddy-buddy with the socialists and the Russians.
Yeah.
They're the ones that have always been real soft to them. So why would you want to put the Republican in that's anti-communist?
I don't think
it doesn't meet the narrative. It doesn't. It does. The stars don't line up on that one. The planets don't line up. So a person that thinks that, well, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, let me ask you guys this question: do you think that the Russians really care who's in office in America? Do you think it really matters to their agenda?
It does matter to them.
Really? I think that they can affect. They know that they can affect things either way.
Look when Obama was there. Mm-hmm. Look at the stuff he said to Medvedev or whatever when he said, "Oh, once this thing's over with, I'll have more. I won't be up for re-election again. I'll have more power to do things." Mm-hmm. It does make a difference because he was very soft toward the Russians, very soft toward the all these Middle Eastern countries. He just like bent over backwards for these people. It's
we're not really sure what he was talking about, right? Because he's not in power now. So
what do you think he was talking about?
I don't know. Tell me what he was talking about.
Because he like a new bidet or something.
What was he saying? He said, wait until these elections are over, and then I'll have more power to do things. Right?
Oh God, come on!
Right. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying too that.
Right.
Yeah, and we'll see how far.
I think ultimately, at the end of the day, countries that want to manipulate America, so China, Russia, they could do it no matter who's in there. Okay, because it's not. First of all, it's not just one person. So let's take the particular one person that's president out of the equation. There's a whole bunch of people working for them. All of those people are susceptible to be bribed, manipulated, pushed in different directions. This has always been going on. Always will go on.
Look at what's her face? Dianne Feinstein had the Chinaman, a Chinese communist guy working in her office like for 20 years.
And I think they know.
Yeah.
And there's still a bunch of that going on. There's a bunch of that going on.
What?
Look at the guy that right now is under indictment. I think that Harvard? He worked for Harvard or something like that.
Yeah. And he's giving stuff to the Chinese.
He was spying for the Chinese.
Yeah.
He was taking their money. He was researching nanotechnology.
He was doing more spying for the Chinese. He was supplying information.
Yeah.
Don't. It's not that Chinamen don't give you money just to.
No, he was giving them information. Yeah. On nanotech.
They don't get their shit. You don't get no money.
Right.
Same with the Russians. They don't get their info. You don't get no money. So. Yeah. That to me that's treason.
Yeah.
And to me that's
Lucky 82 Penny says that Obama was talking about missile defense.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. You tell a Russian guy, oh, we're going to take away our missile defense, so that emboldens them. Mm-hmm. It's like downsizing the Navy during the Obama administration. That emboldened the Chinese in the Philippine Sea and all these other places to create their false islands, their artificial islands, and increase their navy. It didn't increase friendship with them. It's not like we went to shake hands after that or something. Anyways,
no matter what, they're always going to be able to manipulate things, man. And get to people and push people, even if they can't push one particular person. So let's say they can't push Trump or whatever, they'll push the people around him. One thing I could say, like the Trump administration hasn't been, a glowing example of how a presidential administration should be run. It's been a freaking nightmare.
Okay?
Right or wrong?
So, what is this example that's so exemplary?
I don't think there is one.
They work so perfect.
I don't think there is one.
We had the previous administration had a cabinet, which were just figureheads. They didn't do anything. And then he had his private cabinet,
Mm-hmm.
which were all his underlings that were working for him, doing his dirty work.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? What other administrations had two cabinets, like a shadow cabinet that's actually doing things, and the other one that just meets and they talk and they're nice and all that. They look good in public. That's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
None, zero. So, anyways, can we talk about something else?
Yes, absolutely. We can talk. Old Dog says you're right again, Walter. There you go.
Just observing things. That's
Right.
all. You just have to observe and take it in, and it's kind of like doing an investigation. Like, let's take the facts and.
Yeah, I don't trust anyone who's in power. I don't trust. If you are the president, and me and Babyface work for you, people will try to get to me. They'll try to get to Babyface.
And I would be the first person to kick your ass out if you betrayed me.
Yeah. No, I would never betray you. Babyface, though, we don't know.
And I like people who do that, because then you can't have people working against you in your own office. You can't do it.
No, absolutely not. But this is the key, the loyalty, one way or the other, good or bad.
You're like Bush said, you're either with us or against us.
Yeah, loyalty is an important thing, When people know what your buttons are, they know how to push it or whatever, they'll try to do that.
Definitely do it. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that goes in relationships or whatever. If you don't trust the person you're in a relationship with, there's no relationship. So. Yeah.
All right. Let's see. We can keep talking about this forever. I don't trust. No, it doesn't matter who's in. This is just me. I don't know if anyone else thinks that way. I don't care if I voted for you. When you're in power, I still don't trust you.
Well, of course not.
There's always this thing called money. And very few of the politicians.
I know, like Babyface. If someone comes at him with a Hulk Rolex.
I got better than that. Babyface, I got a whole, like 3 or 4 40-foot containers full of crank part sets.
Oh yeah,
my God!
You throw crank arms at him,
and a couple Grozas thrown in there, and some.
What sort of info do you want to know about the U.S. government?
Yeah, thank you. Guard him off.
No, listen, loyalty is really important, but that's still the same thing. I think it really doesn't matter who's in. Like I think Obama had really loyal people.
Without a doubt.
I don't trust them.
His second
really
cabinet,
loyal.
yes, that was his henchmen. They were very loyal.
Yeah. For some reason, Trump's having a lot of issues getting very loyal people in there. So.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's the way things really are. Meaning.
Yeah. I don't think he wasn't a political operative. So, I mean, I think if you're a political operative and you've been doing this long enough, you understand how to play the game better. I don't think he was a political operative. He was more of a business person or a TV show host, and that's probably the result of like what we're seeing. Like everyone's in there right now. I think trying to think of how they could write a book, how they can get a TV show, or whatever out of it.
And in business, you have to demand loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a public service job where if you screw up, you'll just get sent to a different department.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of the government is like that.
I think in everything you have to do. You know what? This is why for dudes. Now, let me ask you this question. We're all dudes here. Who's seen Scarface?
I've never seen the whole thing.
Yeah, parts of it.
Oh, you never saw the whole Scarface thing? Okay. Right. But you understand the loyalty aspect of all these games. What about The Godfather?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's mafia.
I get your point of mafia loyalty.
Yeah, it's an important thing to guys. I don't know if it's important to the fairer sex. I think men loyalty is really important. I don't know.
I think so.
It's important. It's important to girls too, or you get divorced.
Oh well, there's that, of course.
But
we're talking about amongst guys. We're not talking about like a man and a woman being married or whoever.
Well, I don't want my guy friends lying to me because I can't trust them.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to tell me
I think the ladies lie to each other. Oh my God, you're so cute. You're the cutest.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, you got to check out Flying Rich's video. He did take video of the.
Yeah, he did a video. Shot him in the
the lower failure.
Wait, what happened? What did you say?
I'm going to throw something out there.
Uh-huh.
Never do a 9mm as your first. The blowback, the straight blowback recoil is way harder on a lower than a 5.56 is.
Can I add something to that?
Go for it.
When you're test firing a gun, for the very first time, never get your face
directly over it.
I have done just what you
Wait, hold on.
did.
Do I want to look at this? Where is this video?
It doesn't hurt them. It just blows apart on them.
It's on Instagram.
It's on
Yeah, it
Instagram?
puts it up.
Okay.
But you don't know. Even a surplus rifle could come apart. You never know.
So we probably shouldn't show this video then.
That's the first thing. What was that rifle that I got from you? One of the 22s. The when we test fired that.
Oh, you were getting.
The first thing I did was like.
Oh. And that's like 22.
Yeah,
Wait,
that's
okay, so
22.
I'm looking at this video first before I put it up here. So it looks like he's in a range, an indoor. Ooh. Okay, yeah, that's not so bad. We could put that up.
No, but if you would have got smacked,
Yeah, we could throw that up
smacked
here.
in the face with that, it wouldn't have felt real well. So.
Yeah, if he would have cheeked it or put it closer. Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, pressure. Science. That's science, Rich.
Science.
If you guys want to see it, you can go here and see it. You know. Okay. All right. That's not too bad.
No, that's what happens when you make things. You learn.
Yeah.
You know, it's just.
Yeah. Who's had guns blow up in their face before?
I've had things break. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. It happens. Be careful.
Yeah. Wear your eyes. Put your eye protection on. You know.
Wear your rubber underwear with you that day.
Big girl, extra strong.
Yeah.
Or get your buddy
fill
to
'em up.
get your buddy to shoot it. How about that?
Here, Walt, you shoot it. It's like, okay.
And then we'll all stand over here. We'll stand on this side of the thing.
I've gotten pretty good where I'm confident in the things that I build, but anytime I get something through that I'm not, I'm always like, I'm gonna put it behind a tree the first time and then pull the trigger. I can stand to lose a thumb or a finger, but I don't want to lose my eyesight. So
certain people, I know that whatever they build is not going to work. Like Walter has a friend, and every single time that buddy of Walter's puts a gun together, guess what's missing, Patrick? I'll give you 10 guesses. What's missing? Firing pin. No, every single time. Every single time this friend of Walter's put something together, no firing pin.
Oh. At least that's a good failure. That's not like an explosive failure.
Okay.
No, that was and there's a whole build up to the shoot, and then when you pull the trigger, nothing happens.
Yeah. It was so
Like,
disappointing. The last time that happened to me, it was so, I forgot what the gun was, but this gun was my height.
Yeah.
You know, and we went to shoot this gun, nothing. We're like, oh, what's happening?
No bang is the worst.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'd rather get like a weird bang, but click with no bang just makes me really uncomfortable.
You gotta just sit there and wait in case it goes off late. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking on the Truth About Guns. There's an article. I haven't read it all though. It's like, the Trump administration has its hands full defending the bump stock ban.
They should have their hands full. Where is this? So Truth About Guns? Truth About Guns?
Truth About Guns.
Is that a new one that popped up on there?
It's about in the middle of the front page, the first page.
Oh, okay.
Right below where it says about the Supreme Court.
Where it says, right below the Supreme Court article?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Let me see. I'm trying to look for that. You know what? There was something here that I'm forgetting to... Okay, I see it right here. The Trump administration has its hands full. Let's pull this up. There was something that I was going to read, but let's go into this, and then we'll read that. I wanted to read that letter from Franklin Armory, but let's take a look at this article here. The Trump administration has its hands full in defending the bump stock ban when the ATF, at the Trump administration's direction, waved its regulatory magic wand, because it says want here, but it's a typo, I'm guessing.
I meant wand.
Yeah, and announced that bump fire stocks, which they previously approved, had magically become machine guns. They created hundreds of thousands of criminals, people who had legally purchased bump fire stocks and then had to make the choice of destroying them, turning them in, or becoming an outlaw. In March, the Supreme Court denied cert on a motion for preliminary injunction in, I'm going to say Guades versus BATFE, but the underlying case is still moving forward. In an opinion written for the cert denial, Justice Neil Gorsuch, attacking arbitrary interpretations of law by federal regulatory agencies, wondered why the court's cert should defer to such bureaucratic pirouetting by the ATF. It's
Jesus,
very
who
dangerous.
wrote
Okay, so
this?
he
Let me see.
understands what's going on.
Zimmerman, Dan Zimmerman.
That's not what he's saying. He understands this is monkey business.
Yeah,
Right?
they know, but they're not. This is the problem, man. If they would have gotten this case and just said, "Hey, you cannot just magically make something a machine gun and make everyone's criminals," that would go a long way. Instead, what's going to happen at some point here? They're going to go, "Listen, everyone that has a firearm, that's a machine gun. You're a criminal."
Well, I can't comment on that, but what I'm seeing here.
So,
yeah.
that sucks.
It's not over yet, so don't jump off the boat.
It's over
yet.
for this year. They're not taking.
It's not over yet. Don't.
For this year, there's other cases. I don't think there's any other 2A, not big ones, that they were looking at.
But,
so it's not. Listen, just go out there and vote. We need to get more conservative people who believe in the Second Amendment,
and go and
Supreme
don't
Court.
and go to the place and punch the little holes in the ballot. Yeah. Don't mail in your ballot. Don't.
It's not about voting for the president when you go vote. I could just tell you guys that.
How do you know when you punch your little when you do the mail-in ballot, it actually gets counted?
How do you know when you do anything? How do you know when you do any of these that it gets counted?
Well, I think
if you do it in West Palm Beach and you're a Republican, you definitely
hanging chads or something. You know what I'm saying?
I lived in West Palm Beach, so I know a little bit of something about the.
Did you have a hanging chad?
No, we went there after that.
Oh, because I said you could manscape that hanging chad. You know?
I was waiting for some joke.
That's one of the most corrupt places, man. I know there's other more corrupt.
That's West Palm Beach you're talking.
West Palm Beach.
Yeah. That's in the hood. Yeah.
It's not really
It's not Palm Beach.
Yeah. Well, yes, it's the hood compared to Palm Beach. True.
Yes.
For sure. Listen. Okay. We can definitely get into that. I want to get to this letter from. I don't know if anyone out there is on the Franklin Armory email list, but there was a letter that Jay put out. He's the owner of Franklin Armory, and this letter I think is really interesting, and you guys should read it. Let me see. I'm gonna pull it up here on the screen. It's not really that long, and I'm gonna go through it and read it so that you all can see this here. Let's pull it up. Okay. So, are we losing the rule of law? That's what it says here. Let me move this up a little bit. And this is dated Friday, June 12th by Jay Jacobson. Martin Luther King once said, "There comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe nor politic nor popular, but he must take it because his conscience tells him it's right. With this in mind, I cannot stand aside and watch what is happening to our society without giving voice." On February 12, 2020, the Dow Jones Industrial Average enjoyed a record high closing at 29,551 points, a little lower. Over 1 month later, on March 23rd, 2020, the Dow had plummeted 37% to close at 18,591. While there has been significant rebound from the lows of March, our economic framework is visibly damaged. The federal government increased our national debt by at least another $2 trillion in March. The U.S. gross domestic product shrank 5% last quarter. Unemployment went from under 4% in February to over 13% in May. Currently, there are 21 million people unemployed, and even today, many states still have COVID-19 closure orders preventing the bourgeoisie, to borrow a Marxist term, from fully returning to work. In my lifetime, I have not observed my country in such a fragile condition, exposed to threats both internal and external. Destructive rioting has demonstrated what happens when the police cannot respond. The looting and destruction of business has produced a further drag on our economy that has yet to be quantified. How many more people will be unemployed simply because the businesses they would have returned to has now been vandalized beyond recognition? In the midst of this destruction, there is now a call for a permanent injunction against law and order as to the chant slogans and calls ring out for defund the police, quote unquote. One has to ask why. What is the end goal? No one with a conscience can watch the murder of Mr. George Floyd without noting the callous depravity of now former Officer Derek Chauvin. The country is united in this opinion, yet suddenly we find ourselves in a world that appears antithetical unto itself. By calling for the abolition of police, some believe their community will be safer. There are unintended consequences of heading down a path that will lead to disparity, depression, and chaos. And then he's got all the reference points for what he's saying in there. I don't know if you guys got a chance to read that, or if the folks out there had a chance to see it. What do you guys think about that?
Yes.
He's pretty much so here's the weird like. But, go ahead, Walt. I'll let you say.
I agree what he's saying, and I can fix the economy really quick. Go back to work. I mean, it's simple. It's not this magic. You don't have to come with the magic again. Just turn off all these quarantine stuff. Let the, as you like to refer to, the herd thing. Let it happen. Get it on. As they say in get it on, and just and get it. The economy will fix itself. You just have to get out of the fucking way.
Yeah, the range says 21 million. That's a huge number.
But and you gotta once again, you need to look at those numbers real close too. And there's a lot of but yes, there's a lot of people out of work, but get out of the way. Turn this stuff off. There's no reason not to.
Yeah, the range says he nailed it.
Tell me where all these people are that are dying and sick. Where are they at? They would be lined up outside the hospital if this was really happening, wouldn't they? They'd be in tents outside if it was so. Where is it?
Well, what went down was not so drastic that it merits us shutting the country down.
No.
And ultimately, even though people have gotten sick and people have died, and that's tragic, right? What's going to happen as a result of this is more tragic. And
look but in that tragic number stuff, we got to look at the facts now. We have to face the facts here. I'm not going to say those people would have died anyways, because that's probably not always true. Because some people didn't die that got it, that were really sick.
Most people didn't die.
No, and people are still sick and not dying.
Yeah.
But you can't.
And a lot of people that died, if anything, if probably even a regular flu would have happened to them. They were highly likely to.
And the regular flu is still around too, by the way.
For sure. We'll never get rid of flus on the face of this planet.
And these numbers, you gotta look at these numbers factually, not and pull apart what's really going on. I think you're gonna find eventually one day we'll say, God, that was the biggest hoax that's ever been put on the face of the earth. But you got to get the government out of the way. These why can't you go get a haircut? I got a haircut. I mean, they're wearing a mask and all this stuff, but come on, those
God,
people.
You want to hear my haircut story? Because I got one over the weekend from the family barber.
A nightmare story?
A haircut story.
Okay.
From the family barber. This is the person I've been going to since I was a kid.
Okay. So this didn't happen to you?
Yes, this is the haircut I got over the weekend.
Okay.
You go to her salon. Yes, I go to a salon. It's my mom's best friend since forever. So she's a what's it called? She's a hairstylist. So whatever.
Yes.
Went to the salon and she texted me the night before that when I get there, stay in the car and text her, and when there's room, she'll let me in.
Right.
So can only have one person in. This is a full salon with 10, 15 women that rent out all the spaces.
Yeah.
Can only have one person in her booth at a time. So I was like, fine, whatever. Plus, you got to wear a mask. I was like, okay,
so technically, you can have 15 people.
One for each.
Well,
as long as they're there.
So that's 30 people. But okay.
Yes, one barber and one customer per
15 slots, which would be 30. Okay.
However many slots. Yeah.
Right.
So I get there, I don this stupid mask, I walk around the corner to her thing and take the mask back off. Fucking useless. So we're sitting there, I'm getting my haircut, and it's just me. And she keeps, she's a typical hairdresser. She's talking about whatever's going on in the world, and she's like, man, I can't breathe in this thing. So mask comes down, takes a sip of coffee. I'm like, you're touching my hair, you're breathing on me. Like, if I was concerned about this, touching
Right.
my hair, you're breathing on me, and then you go and touch your face mask, and drink your coffee, and put that down and touch other things. And then at one point the mask was like here instead of over her nose. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, all of this is so fucking
It's
useless.
stupid.
It's so useless.
And all that, with all the mask, your eyes are still exposed to all the stuff.
Yeah. But that's that's the overall thing of all of it, right?
And then ultimately, my main ultimate problem with all this is the mask protects her from spreading her germs to me if done properly. So I could still bring whatever I want in there. It doesn't matter. I'm sitting there sweating in her chair. That's going to get everywhere. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
It's what Walter said before. It's feel-good stuff.
It's all it is. It's feel-good BS.
And it's not that people haven't gotten sick, and it's not that people haven't died and all that stuff, and people are still getting sick, and some people are still dying. But doing this stuff is not going to stop it.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's all you're doing is just you're crippling the economy because of this. I don't know what it's for. It's hard.
Well, this is the point. By the way, Jay Loafers gave us
one thing.
He gave us $5. He says, "Hello guys, I'm back. Jay did nail it." He's talking about Jay from Franklin Armory. Go ahead, Walt. What were you saying?
No, one thing you got to remember also, just like all the stuff going on in other areas, it's an election year too.
Yeah.
That's my thing. That's what I keep telling is once I'm pretty sure Trump's going to get reelected. Once it's done, it's going to continue to smolder underneath, but it'll quickly go away can we shame Trump?
He needs to step up too and say, "Hey, enough of this." If the Fossey guy or Facey guy or whatever that Democrat is that said is pulling a line of everybody's going to die, you're out of here. You're fired.
There's no way he can get rid of him. There's no way.
What do you mean? There's no way?
He can't. But especially in an election year, there is no way he can get rid of Fauci.
You got to stop all this.
It would look so bad. No, I agree. Fauci is your typical doom and gloom, world is ending type.
Yeah.
But during the election year, no chance he's going to get rid of him. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I think because he's going to follow the politics on that. Let me
Politics.
get this in from Razor JB real quick. He says leaders lead by example and rarely have to open their mouths. They inspire and motivate to get others going. We don't have any of that right now. We have the exact opposite. And he says, as CIC, I'm embarrassed. I'm not sure what CIC means, but someone will let me know.
Something in charge.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe commander in charge. I don't know.
Commander-in-chief?
Yeah, commander-in-chief. Commander-in-chief. Yeah, there you go.
The ones that should be brought up on charges and the ones that are really guilty of stuff are the people like these Como and all these other places that put these people in nursing homes with other sick people and kill.
So I need to share that video out with you guys. I forgot to over the weekend of the nurse that what's it called, whistle blew on that hospital in New York, that supposedly really bad hospital in New York, where I was talking to Marley about this in the practice. We currently have a 45-minute test. You can run a 45-minute test to see if you have COVID. They're not doing it because of money. That obviously makes sense. That's how hospitals run. They're cheap as shit. They're going to do the cheapest possible. So they're running a 5-day test at the moment. So what that means is patient comes in with some sort of upper respiratory problem. It doesn't really matter. Slight fever and upper respiratory, which could be a ton of different things. The doctors go, okay, we're gonna admit you. We're gonna give you a COVID test. We're gonna give you a room for 5 days, and we'll tell you by the end of the week if you're positive or not. The problem with this hospital is they have enough beds. They have enough rooms to do one patient per room. They're doubling and tripling beds per room. So you get this person in off the street who may not have anything, may just have an upper respiratory infection or something like that. You then take them and stick them in a room with 2 other COVID positive that are COVID positive patients, and you're like incubating this disease within the hospital, and then a lot of the patients coming in are old and dying. It's like, oh my God.
But here's the thing that no one's thinking about. Like, it doesn't matter where you are at in the hospital, unless they have a special AC system, everyone's pretty much breathing the same air. I know
that's why. If you can avoid going to a hospital, do it.
But if that was the case, if everybody was so well, it goes back to that being asymptomatic and then not necessarily spreading it.
Mm-hmm.
If it was
Yeah.
so, everybody would get it, regardless whether you had a suit on or not. You'd get it eventually, and everybody doesn't get it.
Yeah, there's
I
a
mean,
lot
you
of there's a lot of reasons for that. I mean,
You could be. It's like everybody doesn't get the flu. Some people are exposed to it. They don't come down with it. And
and then some people come down with it for some reason. Look,
There are folks that get the flu and very minor symptoms and 2 or 3
boom,
days
boom,
they're
it's
feeling
over.
fine.
Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
some people that get pneumonia and have to be admitted to the hospital. So
Right.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
all individual.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're all different in our reaction to this. Listen, by the way, let me just remind everyone to smash the thumbs ups out there, okay? We got lots of people looking, watching, enjoying the show. Smash the thumbs ups. Look, you know what? And obviously, like I tell you guys all the time, Franklin Armory, they help us put on this podcast. We appreciate that. We have them on, etc. We do stuff with them. I'm not trying to hide that from you guys in any way. One of the things I'm always trying to tell people about these guys, they're nerdy. They're not the coolest kids on the block at all. They're nerdy guys. But I think I appreciate the leaders of companies coming out and having something to say, because I think we're living in a world where if the leaders of these companies, especially the bigger companies, just sit around and don't say anything, they're going to wake up one day and it's going to be too late to say anything. It will be the end for the industry that they're in. And it'll be too late to try to do something about it. So I appreciate people coming out, putting these things out there and saying what, in a lot of cases, it's exactly what we all feel. Unfortunately, there's a lot of companies that just don't want to get involved in what they call politics.
And then that same company will come out and come up with some apologetic 5 paragraph long reason why they're so politically sensitive to this and sensitive to that, and have nothing to do with any of it. And you saw that happen with this recent thing going on. It's like, why are you coming out and saying all this stuff? I wasn't thinking that about you. Mm-hmm. That's like if you start apologizing. What are you apologizing about? You didn't do anything.
Yeah. Well, one of the problems is, just like people on the other side of this are very out and loud about what they believe in, we should be that too.
Well, that's a problem right now for sure. We are the silent majority, and we just sit back and listen to.
What happens when you do that? What happens when you do that?
They start trying to chop your head off.
They call you what? They call you a what?
Whatever. All kinds of different
The word
names.
begins with an R and ends with a T, right?
Uh-huh.
And some people are so scared of that word, like you're going to burn in hell if somebody calls you a racist just for your opinion. And
you're gonna. Well, see, here's the problem. If you're quiet, you're gonna burn in a different hell. There's lots of hells. You gotta decide which one.
You're gonna burn in your own hell. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you see speaking of not burning in hell, but did you see the picture from England? I guess I don't know the whole story behind it, but there was a white guy getting beating in a mob.
Oh yeah, and a black
guy put him on his shoulder, big black guy by the way.
I think a British Black Lives Matter dude.
And said, "Hey, I can't let this happen."
Absolutely, that's the way it should be.
That's like,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
People have the right to stand up and say what they have to say. I think they don't have the right to start taking out other people because they believe this or they believe that. But listen, let's say the extreme side of that, someone really wants to be racist or prejudiced or whatever the hell you want to label it as, I think they have the right to get up and say that. I would rather them.
They do.
Yeah, I would rather they say it and then we know who they are.
Then you know it. Right,
yeah.
right.
But you don't, they don't have the right to attack people based off of that. And people shouldn't attack them based off of that either.
Right.
Once we get into that situation, go ahead.
You should have enough self-control.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, there's a lot of people on both sides that don't have any self-control. And then we're supposed to make excuses for those people because they've been this or they've been that or whatever, or maybe they can't think straight for 5 minutes in a row. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I get no excuse for people like that. Have no excuse in my book. Sorry.
We can't solve things unless we actually try to solve things. If we could fight about something and try to make might right, but that's not actually. It's like if you ever watched what was the what was that movie with Sean Connery and all these? Was it The Unstoppables or the movie where with what's it? Damn, I'm trying to remember it was one of those gangster movies that has Sean Connery. Someone will tell me the name.
Untouchables?
Untouchables. Yeah. Isn't that the movie where Sean Connery was like, if they beat you up, then you get bats, and if they get bats, then you get knives. If they get knives, you get guns. Yeah. This is ultimately what comes out of all of that kind of stuff. You don't actually solve anything. You just escalate everything.
Right.
People start fighting, and then everyone's getting revenge for everyone else, and we're just going back and forth, and we could just burn everything down. Or we can actually let people express themselves and let everyone look at them and go, "This guy's terrible. We don't want to go in this person's direction, and we can work these things out." Go ahead, Patrick.
So real quick, just to play devil's advocate on this, what do you do when the opposite isn't playing by the rules? So you decide, your team decides, all right, we're going to play by this set of rules. We're not going to, we're going to let everybody speak their mind. What happens when the opposite team goes, well, no, we're not playing by those rules. We're going to do whatever we want.
Well, it comes to a point.
If you have to defend yourself, you have to defend yourself.
Right.
It
comes to a
point.
But like currently, so what you're saying is let everybody speak their mind, which I agree with. Currently, there's a huge problem.
Well, I mean, that's the First Amendment, isn't it? Isn't that what that's
There's
about?
a huge problem with what's that? Where they try to cancel people, cancel culture. Where you speak your mind and somebody goes, "Ooh, I don't really like that. I'm gonna call your boss and try to get you fired." Like that's a major issue right now.
For sure.
Well,
for sure.
I mean, if
Yeah, I don't believe in that. I mean,
that's not.
I don't think any of us do. But you see my point.
That was the other day we were talking about that woman that got into the thing in the park with the black guy.
Yeah.
In New York City, and then she got fired for that.
Everybody,
Yeah,
like,
and it's like,
is that right?
And it had nothing to do with work, but the business is so scared that somebody will associate her with them and won't do business with them, even though that's not the case for the most part. They ditch her,
a lot, and that's what we're dealing with a lot of businesses. I mean, and I could tell you, it's highly disingenuous for me when I flip on Netflix and all of a sudden Netflix never gave two craps about any of this.
Nope.
And all of a sudden Netflix is, by the way, here's our Black Lives Matter playlist.
Yeah. Now what the hell is up with that?
Or who's doing it? Amazon Prime or whatever.
HBO's got one.
Yeah. Everyone's got that. I'm like, oh, so this is a fad. You might as well just throw some kente cloth up on there.
But without any.
I don't think. Listen, do people really buy that when businesses do that? Do you really buy it? Does anyone out there buy it? Do you believe?
I think there are pandering. It's pandering. It's pandering.
Yeah, there can't be that many that are that stupid to believe that Nike gives a shit about your political opinion.
Yeah.
They're here to sell shoes. That's all they care about.
Yeah. Netflix doesn't give a crap about me.
No, they don't.
Well, but
that's
think
not gonna
that
make me.
If they act like you do, then they might attract a little more attention to themselves.
This is what
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone wants to be. It's like high school. No one wants to be picked on.
Well, right? They're not.
Everyone wants to fly below the radar.
Let's
hope they don't pay attention to us.
Nobody's picking on Amazon. Nobody's picking on Netflix. But you gotta get out there and go, hey man, I'm good with it, man. I'm down with it, And it's like, who cares if you're down with it?
But when you do it, regardless of who you're trying to please with that, I'm gonna tell you once you do it, now I realize it's the same thing with the kente cloth. If we were in high school and this happens, and then so we were in high school before, everyone was doing what they were doing, everyone was being a bully, doing this, doing that, or whatever, and then we come back from high school and now people are rocking kente cloths or something like that. I'm gonna go, come on now. You're just now you got on the bandwagon of something. You're just identifying yourself as that, and I feel the same way about the companies. Like you're just identifying to me that this is what you are, and that's really what we're dealing with. I think when it comes to that, do I think that it's cool? First of all, I don't think we've got like a pandemic of Karens or something like that. I mean, every freaking day. But this is the whole thing about the news. This stuff is always happening. And then all of a sudden, we're always going to get every Karen story now that happens, right?
It's because white women are an attackable class at this point. Think about that. Like Like if it was a black person, you try to make some thing about Karen black people, it wouldn't be all right. Or some other minority. White women are totally fine to attack. Like that's all right to attack that group.
And I think the police are being overused for sure.
Oh God.
This is the flip side of that. Like everything that happens, you're gonna call the popo. This is a thing. Come on now. Everything. Listen, I see this black guy writing on chalk, "Black Lives Matter" on the front of a house.
I can tell you though, white women are
on
not the only ones that do dumb shit like this. There was a Spanish lady one time at McDonald's that bought 3 cheeseburgers, ate 2 of them, took a bite out of the third, and then ran up to the counter and was like, "These had onions on them. I want 3 new ones." And the manager was like, "Fuck no, I'm not." Like I was in the store watching this. She's like throwing shit, and he's like, "I'm not giving you 3 new ones. You ate 2.5, and now you want 3 more? Get the fuck out!" And she tried to call the cops, and I think the cops were like, "We're not coming. Stop. We're not coming down."
Now, what do you? Okay.
There's definitely. Go ahead.
And what if she gets physical?
What do you,
now it's game on in my book.
You would have to deal with it. Who called the cops in that situation that you're talking about?
I think she tried to.
Yeah.
And I believe the cops were like, "No, we're not coming down there." I'm sorry.
Yeah. We got to figure out how we want this to be. I mean, first of all, these are not reasons to call the police.
Well,
okay, everything that goes wrong, you don't get your order right. And for sure, babyface, it's not just Karens, it's Keonce. There's Keonces out there calling the police or whatever. Okay, we can. I would admit that. I would admit that for sure.
Oh yeah.
People are overusing calling the cops for every damn thing. And then at the same time, they're like, you know what? We should abolish the cops. Then who are you going to call?
Like I said in the chat the other night, everybody wants the cops to come to solve all their problems. Mm-hmm. And then when they don't show up, you're all pissed off.
Yeah. Rockstar 6111 says, "Who will all the trashy people call when they defund the police?"
They're not defunding the police.
Yeah, I don't think they are either. I'm just saying.
Get that thought out of your mind. They're not.
I wish they would. I wish they would.
Oh, they're not going to do that.
I wish they would. I wish they would.
Let them experiment somewhere else. I don't want that experiment here.
Yeah,
actually, what? I don't give a shit if that experiment happens here. What's going to happen? Nothing's going to happen in case that experiment kicks off here.
It won't. It's not going to last long. They don't actually want it. So
no, they don't. Yeah. They don't have any idea.
Once again, there's a lot of people pandering to certain groups.
Mm-hmm.
The politicians that say, "Oh, let's get rid of the police." It's like, you hear that? You hear what I just said? Let's get rid of the police. It's like, no. Mm-hmm. They're just pandering. They're pandering.
Yeah. By the way, everyone overdoes this. When we've been out there shooting and someone's called the cops on us, are we going to make a video and call them Karen? Well, we don't even actually see them. Yeah, they call the cops show up.
I got too much shit though. Like I got videos to film. I got too much shit going on. I don't have time to deal with that.
No,
I'm gonna be polite and be nice to the cops.
Yeah.
Well, it helps that we kind of know the cops. The cops know Hank.
Right. Yeah. Listen, I go out there, I talk to them, and they want to hang out with us. They can hang out.
Gave them some stickers and stuff, and they were like, "Oh, this is awesome."
Yeah. Yeah.
No, last time it was what's his name that worked for the gun store, and he was like, "Oh, I'm just seeing, yeah." And he was like, "I have to legally tell you that the curfew starts at 10." And I was like, "Dude, it's 2 in the afternoon." And he was like, "I know, I just have to tell you." I was like, I'll be well gone by 10 o'clock. I will not be ready."
I know what was funny that happened to me one time. I don't know if Walter was there, but one time someone called the cops and they said that these guys are out there shooting machine guns, which I think we probably were. So when they came, they were like, so the guy, he was I was talking to the police officer, and then he came in, and he was like, "Yeah, was somebody shooting machine guns?" Everyone was like, "No, I don't know. You shooting machine guns? No one's saying shit." And I'm just being quiet because I'm like, what's so wrong with these guys? You got the paperwork, right? But no one wanted to volunteer.
Nobody's gonna.
Well, like no, it probably
I
just
wasn't there that
it just sounded like that. It must have just sounded like that. But he didn't really care. He just really, if there was a machine gun there, he wanted to shoot it. But no one wanted to.
Well, that probably would have been my response. I was like, I probably would have said, "Yeah, you want to try it?"
Yeah. I was gonna do that, but then when I noticed no one wanted to fess up to it, I just played it. I was like, okay, no one wants to be the one.
You ever been shooting fireworks off in the 4th of July, and somebody calls the cops, and the cops comes and he goes, "Are you guys done yet? Are you guys finished yet? Because and they're getting calls all over the place because some of these people, like, we had this woman that used to live. I think she died now, which was not a bad thing, but I think she OD'd actually, so she put her on herself.
God.
But bless her heart. But I think she was a nurse or something. And she OD'd. But she would call and come down the street and say, "I've got to go to work in the morning," blah, blah, and starts bitching us out. You know, and I'm like, "Hey, it's a 4th of July. You know, go home." You know, and then finally the cops come. You know, and it's like, "We're finished. We're good. You know, we're done." But it's like, and then the women, the best part, the girls that were with us, like my wife and the other women, are like, yeah, they start bitching on her too. I just sat back and let them go at it.
Just enjoy it.
Yeah. So, yeah, bless her heart. She's dead.
Yeah. I'm not. No comment on.
Well, that was a comes around, goes around thing. Okay. Yeah. Come on, you're gonna be a biatch. You know, it's gonna come.
Yeah. Listen, I think there's just this weird thing. Going on here. Like we're schizophrenic. We want the cops. We don't want the cops. We call the cops for everything.
Oh well, yeah.
What happens, you know.
When things get weird, first thing you do is you call the police.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to solve the problem, you know. And then unfortunately, it doesn't always go the way that it's supposed to go, you know.
Yeah. But here's the problem, especially in small places, when that cop is out there dealing with something totally unnecessary, he's not doing something else that's very necessary.
Absolutely.
To be doing. Yep. So people you shouldn't overuse that particular thing.
No, there's no.
You know.
There's no reason to call the police for. I mean, you've seen that McDonald's thing before, and it's just like, what the hell? But there's a lot of nutty people out there that are truly nutty, not just mad, but just mad. Mm-hmm. And the smallest little thing sets them off, or if you don't agree with them, they go berserko. You know. Let
me ask you guys this question. We got like 8 minutes here. Maybe you could all explain this to me. Why did public floggings go away in America?
Liberals.
Oh, okay. I was just curious about that one. I just wanted to know.
We became civilized.
We should still have a couple of things that, you know, you do that, you should get flogged. Like, for example, if you're driving your car on the streets and you're eating some kind of, I don't know, a Big Mac or something like that, and you take that Big Mac paper and just throw it out the window, lashes.
Oh, yeah, flogging. Absolutely.
Lashes.
People that litter like that, there's no reason for you to throw your garbage out in the road if anybody does that shit. You can go home and put it in your garbage can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just scrunch it up into a little piece of paper, keep it in your car until you get home, or until you get to a garbage can somewhere. There's garbage cans everywhere.
In the 70s, they had like this, one of these slogans, give a hoot, don't pollute. You know, it's like one of those government kind of things. It's like, because they were trying to get people to, it's just basically changing your ways, the way you act, you know. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't be throwing garbage on the ground. Do you do that in your house?
Oh, I don't know, man.
There are people that do.
Oh, I know that. And I was going to say something else, too, about what people do in public.
Let me just say, you know, public displays of affection that go overboard. So,
excessive.
Excessive. I don't mind if you're holding hands. I don't mind if you're like, oh, honey, I love you. Get a little peck, a little kiss on the cheeks.
We're not going to flog people for that.
I mean, I was one time. No, that's fine. But I remember one time in the DMV here in Gainesville, and there's this young couple just like tonguing each other down, and I'm like, what's happening? That's a flogging offense. You guys let me know what you think. You should be.
You better watch out. Those people might like you, Hank. They might be into that pattern.
I don't know. But there's a line. Like there's a line of how. If you have to prove to your boyfriend or girlfriend how much you love them by swallowing their tongue in public,
at the DMV,
it's not real. It's not real. It's just, I mean, is that just me? Am I the only person who thinks that way?
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to be like,
Yeah. Mothers who can't get their babies under control and let their babies throw a tantrum in the supermarket and start pulling everything down and all of that.
No, that's.
We had one of those the other night at dinner. The kid was just running around the restaurant.
Oh, I hate that.
It wasn't a nice restaurant. It was just McAllister's. It was just that like sandwich place.
Yeah.
But the kid was just running around like yelling, and I'm like looking at Marley. I'm like, I'm
What's
gonna
happening?
get out the front door.
Future. That's the little
What
future
is
felon of America.
Oh
They-
God!
They're out of control. Yeah.
M.
Jesus,
Gabriel
the
says
shit,
people.
shit.
Yeah, M. Gabriel says people get upset when I'm vlogging in public. But you guys don't have anything like that? You don't have like a peeve like that we should probably bring it back?
Shit. I'm sure I could.
Elfster says, anyone want to start a Hank Autonomous Strange Zone? We can call it the Has.
That's-
No.
Rockstar says exhibitionist. Brian Quick says Hank sounds jealous. No, that is so freaking annoying, man. That's so annoying. I've had people in my family I won't mention. Anonymous, my brother.
Oh, he likes to.
That would just drive me nuts. I'm like, listen, if you got to prove this to us, it's not real. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you got to prove it to me, it's not real. You know what? If I'm in public with Lola, I don't now. If we're in private, I hold her hand, rub her feet. When you're in public, you don't have to prove your ownership.
I don't. Yeah, you don't really hold hands in public.
Yeah, if you gotta, I'll do it. But
I have.
Do you know what my way of telling her I love her? And when we go to dinner, I whip out the card, and I'm like, that's how I tell her I love you because I am paying for your dinner.
That's okay.
Usually,
that's you,
usually
Patrick.
Peggy pays, so
That's
I don't.
for sure.
She whips out her card and pays.
Yeah. And then some
that
nights
is
she goes,
Patrick for sure. That's Patrick.
But some nights she'll go like, my paycheck just came through, so I'm technically paying for that. And I'm like, well, shit, you're right, actually.
Yeah. She's like, remember who owns that? Remember who owns that? That ding dong. Yeah. Our ding dong.
James Miller said people who don't flush the toilet after using it.
I could flog a person for that.
Yeah, that's a
I
flogging
can flog a
offense.
person for that. Absolutely. Did somebody not tell you? Or people like piss on the toilet seat? Yep, that's
that's
paddling.
Yeah, leaving floaters.
Paddling.
Flogging
that's
offense.
That's where I was gonna go to after I said I won't go into it, but yeah.
Yeah, leaving floaters. We can come up with some good things, and we should bring that back. That will make a more polite society.
Put the stocks out there. You get 24 hours in the stocks.
Yeah, I just thought of one. You're in the bathroom. You just used the bathroom. You used the urinal, whatever. You go wash your hands. You see a guy who came in and went over there and did whatever, and then leaves without washing his hands. Flogging offense. Flogging offense. There you go.
I'm trying to think of my pet peeves.
Rockstar says people who don't use turn signals. People who wait until they're actually turning to put on the turn signals.
I mean,
why bother?
They got a brand new car and they never. I guess they didn't pay for the turn signal arm.
No, because they think because the turn signal goes off automatically, it goes on automatically.
They didn't fill up the blinker fluid for the week.
I am really. You mentioned that. Funny you mentioned that. With all the things that the cars have to have now, like the reverse cameras, is that mandatory now to have a reverse camera?
Most of them do, though.
They most have it, but I doubt it's mandatory.
I thought that was coming where it was mandatory.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's just, it's nice, but it's a super lazy. You never look then. You're relying on that camera for all your. I mean, some cars you can't see out. They have blind spots. They have horrendous blind spots. Mm-hmm. But I mean, if you never take the time to look, oh man, I don't know.
I think the reverse cameras help, and there's beeps and things like that tells you, and sometimes it can see what you can't see, but use all the tools available to you.
Yeah, use your eye. Look at eye, as they say. Look at eye.
Yeah, use all the tools available to you. There's
what if you gotta hop in the old Toyota that's got nothing?
I gotta flog in, and this is gonna be a really controversial one. Oh, people that put grapes in chicken salad. I just had an ad for chicken salad sandwich.
How could that possibly be a thing? What are you talking about?
You're a heathen.
You're never gonna see me because I don't even eat chicken salad. So it's like
I don't want sweet chicken salad. Don't put grapes in my chicken salad.
Grapes? I don't think.
Do you eat chicken salad, Hank? Have you ever had a chicken salad?
Yeah.
Chicken salad sandwich?
There
are people that put grapes
in
that
shit. With grapes in it?
Yes. No. I just got an ad for it, and that is a pet peeve.
I have one.
Okay. What's yours?
People who put onions in macaroni and cheese.
No, why would you do that?
Mac and cheese? What?
I had people put onions in macaroni and cheese.
That's a weird one.
Yeah, that's a definite flogging offense, I think. I
And
think I can see
that's my final thought of the night.
Yeah, I could concede that. So, okay, look at that. We hit 9 o'clock, and I think we solved
And we
solved
ended
the
with
world's
a smile.
issues.
We ended with a smile.
Yeah, we solved the world's issues. You guys can let us know what your flogging offenses would be. In your autonomous zone.
Rick's got it. He goes, Arby's does. It was an Arby's commercial.
Oh.
It was a fucking Arby's commercial for
Arby's? Arby's.
Put grapes in their chicken salad. It's disgusting, and I disapprove.
They're
I would
pandering.
elect the president. Grapes would not be allowed in chicken salad. That would be a punishable offense.
Yeah, I know. I never heard of that. That's pretty terrible. All right, so grapes in the chicken salad. That must be the French. That has to be the French.
Oui.
That's not an American thing. That's not. There's some country that started that nonsense, and now we all have to live with it. I don't like raisins and stuff either.
Can I throw one more thing out real quick before we get? This is a real fast one. Hank, have you seen the PS5 yet?
From
PlayStation 5.
No, I haven't.
Seen it?
I've seen.
I'm not gonna ruin it.
I've seen things about it, but I haven't seen one in person yet.
Ruin it for you. Go take a look at it. It does not look like a gaming machine.
It looks like the Eye of Sauron.
No. To me, it looks like a D-Link wireless router. Like when you see it, you'll never see it again.
It's got bat ears. It looks like that building in Chicago in the Batman movie.
The design is terrible.
At first, I thought you were talking about an MP5.
No, that's what I was like. What is he talking about? Wait a second. Bruce Ludman says bullpups equals flogging. Okay, Bruce. You, sir.
He must be working with what's his face on. He must be working with the
Brandon.
hair.
Oh, Brandon. Yeah, that might be Brandon. I mean, you never know.
Take his lashes and say, "Please, sir, can I have another?" As he proudly holds his bullpup.
Yeah, I would just take my lashes. I'm not giving up my bullpups for nobody. Okay, all right, cool. Listen, let's Babyface, tell the folks how they can follow you, support you, keep up with you.
YouTube.com/BabyfaceP. New video every Monday. We are currently, for anybody that is listening to this that isn't a subscriber, we're currently building a tantal, a Polish tantal. So go check that out. It'll probably be 7 or 8 weeks long of building. But every Monday at 4 a.m., we will have a video of something that we did to the tantal that week.
Yeah. I promise you guys, if you go look at the picture of the Eye of Sauron and then look at the PS5, it's going to look like the same thing. You know the Eye of Sauron from Lord of the Rings?
I don't know, but I'll check it out.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me.
I see it.
Yeah.
I just spell Sauron or Sauron.
Sauron.
Yeah, Sauron, yeah. Yeah. So, Walter, how can the people follow you, support you, sir, while you're looking up the Eye of Sauron?
That's very interesting, I must say. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram on Safety Hour Firearms, also safetyhourfirearms.com. There's also Safety Hour Firearms on, there's some on, my brain completely blank. On
you're on Mines,
mine, Gunstreamer and Mines.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't posted much on Mines lately. And also Dirtfoot Racing on Instagram and Facebook, and there's also Mower Death on YouTube. And I got to talk. I cannot get it back. I cannot log into that Mower Death. I don't know what happened. But anyways,
you got to do a password reset or something like that.
I guess I'm completely. My mind's like.
Mm-hmm.
It's been so long since I did anything on there. It's like,
yeah. All Thumb says, I love salt on my watermelon.
God damn it! I was just about to say that. That is
what?
Fucking heathenistic.
Salt
that
on
can't
what?
be real. That's on his
Salt
water.
that's a thing. You didn't know that?
On watermelon. No, that's
Salt
not
on
a thing.
Oh yeah, I've had people do that. Yeah.
Makes it juicier. It's a southern thing. It's an absolute southern thing, and it's disgusting.
I have never heard of that, sir.
It's disgusting. The salt is supposedly mixes with the sweet, and it makes it sweeter and juicier. Because you get that it's like caramel with some salt in it or chocolate.
Oh, that's good.
Listen, God made the watermelon perfect. Why do you have to mess with it? Don't freaking mess with it.
Well, you could stick a bottle of vodka in the side of it.
And that's pretty good too, but no salt.
That's fine. Yeah, salt we don't need. Shout out to Elfsters out there. Okay, listen. Make sure you guys go to hankstrange.com, sign up for our email list. By the way, before we get out of here, I know we're running late. I did finish the my latest film. It's a how it's made film with Sam Andrews for the Spring Break holster That'll be going up sometime soon. It's about an hour and 13 minutes, some seconds. But it's pretty awesome. I think you guys would appreciate it. We put a lot of time, effort, work. And by we, I mean me. Lola helped a little bit. She did some camera work and stuff like that. So
It rubs your feet. That's all.
she rubs my feet from time to time. But yeah, so listen, that's going out there, so go check that out. Thanks to Walther for sponsoring the show. We appreciate them doing that. I'm going to drop the end title here on this. Make sure you guys smash those thumbs ups, ring the bell, leave comments. Ring the bell so you can be notified when we go live. We'll throw this up on audio on all the different places you get audio, iTunes, etc. Please go support Babyface P and Safety Harbor Firearms. Thanks to Walther Arms. We're out of here. Who wants the last word, guys?
Stay safe, everyone.
Yeah. We're out. We'll see you. Peace.
I hate that. Stay safe, garbage.
We're out.